journey, they have regrets. I think their biggest regret is not telling you from their heart space how they truly feel. That is their biggest regret. I feel that because they chose not to tell you, everything else that happened behind that, it was something that they let happen because they were in this place of pride, in this place of great ego. And so their pride and their ego made them not come to you, not tell you what was really going on, not tell you how they really felt. But I feel like that's their biggest regret. Bottom of the deck, we have the patience card. This is some time has passed. And like I said, somebody is on their journey. And throughout this time, like I said, their biggest regret is not expressing something to you while they're on that journey. Hey, Robert. This is somebody who, for some reason, they felt jealous of you. For some reason, it was like maybe the way that you love, maybe it was all the love that you received from others. Maybe it was just about your kind heart. But somebody felt a certain way about you. Hey, Lightworker William. You know, and for somebody, and I guess maybe somebody felt like, well, if they came to you and said, hey, you know, like giving somebody a compliment. Sometimes people will purposely not give somebody a compliment because they think it's going to go to their head. As opposed to Grand Rising K Hyphy, as opposed to giving them the compliment, having that line of communication open up, and then learning something from it. Because, you know, maybe this person didn't realize there was a whole backstory behind how you love, the way you love, how big your heart is, and why it is that size. There's a whole backstory behind that. But instead, someone chose to be silent. They chose to hold back. They chose to have emptiness there when it could have been something that was full. And like I said, this is this person's biggest regret. This is what they cannot let go of. This is what they think about the most. How they chose not to say something to you. Like I said, this is somebody who didn't want you to be happy. They didn't want you to feel like, you know, you had accomplished something, or that somebody was even admiring you from afar. This is somebody that wanted you to feel the way that they feel. Empty, alone, pushed out, excluded. But now this person is really thinking about you. And like I said, they have a great appreciation for your heart, for the way you love. They have a great appreciation for your own backstory that they didn't take time to find out about previously, before judging you, before prejudging you. This person is waking up to the fact that they were prejudiced against you for no damn reason. Now it's this same person with their own heart in their hand. Like I said, this person was made to sit down by the Most High. This person was made to go within and to find who they are. You know, think about everything about themselves that they wanted to change, wanted to shift, wanted to alter. Hey, Nurse Oasis. This is somebody who thought that, if they had a lot of money, that their life would balance out. They thought that if they had a lot of pocket change, then that would take care of every other ailment that they had. Money does not fix health problems. Money does not fix loneliness. Money does not fix low self-esteem. Grand Rising High Priestess. Money is just a means to buy what is needed, sometimes what is wanted. Now this person is realizing that they missed the whole door to value. It's like they were looking over here when the door was really over there. They missed the whole lesson. Somebody's realizing that there was a lot that they did not see. Even though the world was like their oyster at a particular time, there was a whole lot this person chose not to see because of their own ignorance. Now this person, that they realize that it's like this person chose not to make a decision, chose not to make a choice. But as we all know, not making a choice is a choice in itself. Not saying something is saying something in itself. They're realizing that indecision is what got them attached to something they didn't want, that they truly didn't appreciate, they truly didn't desire, and they truly regret. This person is wanting to repair like something within themselves, whether it's their own relationship with themselves, whether it's a relationship with you, whether it's relationships, period. Somebody wants to, have those days where there's that blossoming abundance again. Like I said, they notice the difference between with you and without you. But when they noticed the difference, it was after things had already been fucked up. Like I said, this person, they're finding that they have to be strong. They have to walk this path with courage. The same path that they were too scared to walk with you. Now they have to walk it alone. But the important thing is they know that they have to walk it. There is no sitting on the sidelines expecting life to come and knock on your door and be like, hey, is your name so-and-so? Because I'm here to make you happy. Hi, Twyla. All right. Yeah, this person is realizing that, you know what, their happiness comes with love. Happiness comes with expressing self. Whether it, and every see, some people are afraid to express themselves because they've been taught that if you go against the grain, if you talk about how you really feel, then you're just trying to start some shit. But that's not the truth. You're expressing how you really feel because you want to be happy. You want the other person to be happy. You want to get along with someone. That's why you're saying what you're saying. That's why you're talking about what doesn't make you feel good on the inside. And it's that other person's, it's not your job not to speak up. It's your job to speak up But at the same time, it's the other person's job to have ears, to have the heart, to have the patience, to have, to be intelligent enough to listen. Not just listen, but also seek an understanding of what you're saying. Because when we can understand each other, when we give each other that compassion, that empathy, when we seek to understand and we really try to hear the words that someone else is saying to us about how they feel, that's when we have happiness. That's when we have those good relationships. Someone understands now that you were the yin to their yang. Y'all was perfectly balanced together. But what got in the way of somebody else talking about, oh, you need to do this, you need to protect yourself, what about this, what about that? That was somebody that was only worried about themselves and feeling, because this person didn't understand themselves. They were sitting here talking to someone else, talking about, no, you need to protect yourself. No, they just out for this, they just out for that. When that person was the one that was out for it. When that person didn't understand what the fuck was truly going on. Like I said, somebody realized it was time for them to walk through that door. It was time for them to go alone. Because you went alone, and look at you. You're doing great. You are doing a grand. Yeah, you're doing a million. You was not afraid to walk through the door to spirit for the better things to come in your life. See, this person, before they chose to walk away from healing because they felt that healing somehow hurt. Healing don't hurt. Healing makes you feel better. Like, you ever go to the hospital and you ever have to have an operation? Yeah, initially after you wake up from that operation, you are in pain, but as that pain starts to subside, you actually feel better. That temporary pain led to a lifetime of being able to walk on that foot that had something going on with it, or being able to straighten your elbow again after something was going on because you fucked it up some other way. Or being able to digest your food because you found out something was blocking it. Somebody was afraid to heal. They were afraid to get better. Now somebody is thinking about everything that they didn't discuss, everything they didn't share, everything they chose to be tight-lipped about, and how this affected this relationship. Now they're allowing their intuition to show them another way, a better way, as opposed to sitting here listening to somebody who's fucking lying to you about some shit they don't know and they're not involved in, and they need to just stay in their fucking lane that leads somebody down the path of damnation, destruction, heartache, and heartbreak. Somebody's realizing they listened to somebody who only was having their butt up on their shoulders as opposed to ahead. They weren't listening to anything intelligent. They was listening to somebody who just did not, they was afraid to be happy. They was afraid to heal. Somebody has reclaimed their own personal power back. They know that's the only way to get out of this whole kerfuffle. Not to listen, you can hear what somebody else is saying, but you don't take it to heart. Especially whenever it comes to dealing with you and somebody that you're connected to. That third party, don't listen to what they say at all, ever, because you're the one who has to ultimately make your decision. You're the one who has to live with that. You're the one who has to be happy with the decision that you made. Someone's realizing that they sat there and allowed somebody else to take control of their life, to have them to make the most fucked up decisions. And now they're sitting here thinking how unhappy they are. Someone has a new strategy. They got a new plan. And that plan is to open up that third eye. That plan is to look at every situation with a discerning eye. That plan is just to listen to themselves as opposed to taking everything that everybody else says is fucking law. See, this person, everybody else was sitting there talking about, you, your money, your worth, and they all got it wrong. You was the only one that really had it together. Everybody else feel like they got to stick together. You're the one who had it together. You're the one that was on the right track. You're the one that was building up your wealth slowly but surely. And you're the only one who did not listen to the crew. The only one who did not take that badass gossip. The only one who realized that shit, if you follow that shit, your heart will truly be broken. Hey, 2B Records, how are you? See, somebody thought that your heart was so wrapped up into them that you was never going to just let them go. That you was always going to feel stuck because of your heart. You was always going to feel like, well, I got to endure this heartache pain. I got to endure this. I got to endure this for the sake of this relationship, for the sake of that relationship. That's not it. Somebody thought that you was going to be afraid to leave. Like they was just going to close the gate and you was just going to sit there and just take it, whatever it was. They didn't know. Shit, you would leave in a heartbeat. You either get yourself right or you will get yourself left. Somebody realized they got left. Hey, Red Violet, how are you? And not only did you leave them, but whenever you left, you went right into your land of cornucopia. You went right into an abundance of blessings because you weren't afraid to do you. You weren't afraid to follow the Most High. You weren't afraid to honor yourself, respect yourself, love yourself. That's what this person is realizing. What's different about you and your heart. And they realize that heart of yours is the best thing about you. Because you love yourself. Loving yourself means that you are not afraid to set someone else free so that they can finally love themselves. They're going to have to find it without you since they couldn't find it with you around. But either way, you are their biggest cheerleader, even if it is from afar. But the thing is, they're going to have to find themselves, learn to like themselves, and learn to love themselves. Then and only then are they going to understand the decisions that you made that directly affect you. Confirmation. Only then. See, somebody thought that they could, act like somebody else. As long as they acted like somebody else, they watched this person. This person over here they appeared to be happy. This person over here, they appeared to have it together. This person over here, they appeared to be this. They appeared to be that. But see, they weren't those things. They're finding out that Just because somebody appeared that way does not mean that that's how it really is. Somebody is finding out that they allowed themselves to be bamboozled because they appeared, that somebody appeared to be a certain way, but they weren't that way. They hadn't even found themselves. They're still looking for themselves. They're still trying to find which door that they actually need to go through. This person has finally gotten the download that they finally listened the fuck to. And that download was, it's time for you to go. It's time for you to sit down somewhere. Figure it out. Whatever it is that you got to figure out. Somebody had to go figure it out. And what they figured out was it was time for them to get on their journey alone. Like they said, God is not going to lead you this far just to let you fall. It ain't going to happen like that, ever. Somebody had to finally listen to themselves. Listen to the downloads. Listen to the whispers that God was telling them. Listen to the dreams that God was showing them. That it's okay. Go through that door to personal healing and happiness. There's no word of community, of the gang, the family, the tribe, the club, the team. Everybody can't go through that door. God was inviting this person to go through that door. It's that personal door to healing and happiness. Somebody had to figure that shit out. Then and only then are they going to get victory. Like I said, this person is waking up to the fact of how intelligent you are, how wise you are. And it's shocking the fuck out of them because guess what? For them just to look at you, they thought, no, no, not collective. Get that fuck out of here. Not collective, but now that they're waking up, they understand exactly. You knew what the fuck you was doing. You knew what the hell you were saying. And you knew what the fuck it all meant. Hey, Latasha, you have a wonderful day too. See, somebody, maybe you are real petite. Maybe you just have a really cute face. You know, maybe your voice is one of those high-pitched voices. Maybe you just, some people look like they really, aesthetically pleasing, pretty to the eye, handsome to the eye, but people think you don't have a brain. Maybe that's what it is. But whatever it is, somebody is realizing they had you fucked up, which is how they fucked themselves up. Hi, Anissa. Hi, Awakened Chosen. How are you? Getting somebody else messed up. Prejudging someone else means that they lost out. That means that they lost out. Because they judged you as opposed to being open to have a conversation with you. To find out what it is that you do, or what you've been through, or what you know. See, they thought that they was doing one over on you, like you was the one that was missing out on something. Like you was the one with the broken heart. You wasn't the one with the broken heart. You was the one with the confidence. You was the one with the plan. You was the one who followed your own third eye. What you saw, you knew you saw. Hey, the blue star, how are you? You was not that one. This is why you are getting justice. This is why everything is working out for you. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Because life ain't easy. But I'm going to tell you one thing. It's a lot easier following your intuition. It's a lot easier going the way that God is asking you to go. Not even telling you to go, but asking you to go. It's a lot easier that way, because let me tell you something about them streets. Them streets don't love you. The streets don't love me. Them motherfucking streets don't love nobody. Somebody is shocked by all the blessings that you're receiving, all the goodness that you're receiving, because they didn't think you was ever going to receive anything. But like I said, and it shocked them whenever you left, because like I said, they thought that you was going to be too scared to leave them. They thought. But now this person is realizing they ain't getting paid to think. Did nobody put no money in their motherfucking account for them to think? All they did was they thought long and they thought wrong. Yeah, they're realizing there's a whole lot they did not see when it was right there in front of them. There's a whole lot. They chose to pull the veil tightly over their eyes. What's the message? Yes. See, when you walked away to the door of personal healing and happiness. This person is realizing this shit now while they are having to go down that journey. Like I said, they know you're not one to play or to be play with. They understand how intelligent, how wise you are. They understand the wisdom that you have. And this person is realizing you have more wisdom in your pinky finger than they do with them and all that goony goo friends that was around them. This person is realizing that they allow themselves to be deceived. They allowed themselves to be deceived. So what's the whole shock and awe? They did this to themselves when all they had to do was listen to the Most High's urging, because God kept trying to communicate with them, kept trying to tell them over and over and over and over and over. But it's not your fault that somebody chose not to listen. They chose not to hear. They chose not to understand. They chose not to comprehend. This is what they chose. This is why they stuck. This is why they was afraid to go forward. And like I said, their biggest regret is that they didn't tell you how they felt about you. They didn't tell you how much they loved you. They didn't tell you how much they appreciated you. What's the message, Spirit? Now that this person is on this path, not because they wanted to, but because God said it's time for you. You got a choice. Now that this person is on this path of self-love, finding self-love, finding self. Now they understand, the time it takes, the dedication that it takes. Now they're starting to understand that, whereas they didn't understand it before. Like I said, this person was in the misconception that somebody else was going to come and tell them, "I'm here. Your happiness is here." This is why this person was afraid to get on their journey before. But now, like I said, it's clear and apparent that it's time. It's time. And they're going to have the strength to go it alone, just like you did. And instead of them sitting there trying to be like somebody else, they're going to have to realize that's what got them fucked up in the first damn place. Learn to be yourself. Learn to be yourself. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you. Yep. Now somebody's looking at the magician in the mirror and realizing it was just all sleight of hand. It was how somebody wanted it to appear, but it really wasn't that way. And it was just to get somebody stuck, caught up, trapped. And they're seeing that now. Now somebody's really looking at that. See, somebody, they realized that that magician had lied to them even about going through the door of the spirit. That's what liars do. They lie. And that's why their life was not balanced when it came to this crew, this community, the family, the team, the gang, the boys, the girls. They're realizing that somebody was just very hostile and did not want them to excel. They're realizing that somebody was envious of what they had with you. They're waking up. They're growing up. They're man and womaning up. What's the message? Anything else from the stack? Let's grab another deck. Bottom of the deck, Eight of Swords. That feeling of being stuck. That feeling of being stuck and all emotional. You know, that feeling of realizing that they should have expressed themselves when they had the opportunity. They should have had an open heart. They should have had an open mind. They should have not judged anybody. That they needed to leave this magical motherfucker the fuck alone. That's what they needed to end. That's who they needed to end shit with. Somebody that was just sitting there playing games with their life. You know, somebody that told them what you need is really, all you really need is money. And now this person really understanding that money's not going to make them happy. Money, you know, now that they realize that the opportunity that they squandered. You know, now it's like somebody they was looking for the wheel of fortune to turn in their favor whenever they didn't even put in the work. They was looking for these opportunities to come to them when they didn't even put in the work. They was looking for all this shit to happen when they didn't even do what they needed to do. What you want, little girl? My pleasure, the blue star. What's that? What's the message, Spirit? Yeah. This is somebody that, you know, it's been a long time coming. Hey, Catherine. It's been a long time coming for them to go ahead and take this leap of faith. It's like somebody had to learn that, they had to be the leader in their own life. They had to gain some courage from somewhere. They had to make their own way, choose their own path. It wasn't about them following because somebody else did it this way, somebody else did it that way. And like we in this family, in this group, we've always done it this way. We've never stepped outside of the box. We've never, ever done it like that. We've always done it like this. This is why all of us are miserable motherfuckers. The only reason that so-and-so went over there and did it like that, see, if you want to be happy like that, you go do that shit. But we miserable over here. Somebody's realizing this. That's when they decided it's time for them to grow the fuck up and put up boundaries. Stand for something. They realized it's time for them to put up these motherfucking strong ass boundaries and stand for something so that they can have what they really truly want in their heart, in their mind, in their soul, in their spirit. Because allowing somebody else to talk you out of what you truly want, what you're really passionate about, to allow somebody else to tell you, nah, you're not really passionate about that. You just going through growing pains. That's stupidity. Ignorance is the kind word to say about it. But if you want to be true about it, that's stupidity. Somebody's realizing what they should have had with you. How, you were that person that kind of keeps them on track. Help them to reach their dreams. Help them to accomplish their goals. You was their cheerleader. You was the rah, whatever the cheer is. Rah, rah, shishkamba, whatever. But see, somebody decided that they was going to trade it up. They was going to do some other shit. They didn't want to have all the faith in you, even though they was watching you do the fucking work. No, I'm going to do it this other way. And now this is where this person is at, deep in their emotions, feeling everything, and crying about it. Don't cry now. You should have cried the moment that Collective left. You should have cried the moment that you messed up that connection with Collective. That's when you should have cried. But don't cry because now that everything comes crashing the fuck down and you realizing, damn, had you just stayed the course. And there should have been a reason that your spidey senses should have said, wait a minute. Stay the course. Because the reason that this person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person, this person, that person getting in the way is because they don't want you to make it. They wasn't trying to save them from nothing except happiness. Somebody should have thought about that. They should have seen the truth. The reason that so many people got in the way of their path, put so many obstacles up, put so many, I wouldn't do that if I was you. You don't want to do it like that. Da. There's a reason for people to do that shit. All of a sudden, everybody want to, let me pull you to the side. Let me tell you, let me pull you to the side. But I don't tell Collective I said this. We don't want Collective to know what we're talking about personally. This is our secret. And the reason they want it to be a secret like that is because they know that you're going to go and be like, you know what? They trying to fuck you up. You better think about it. What's the message? What's the message? Yep. This person knows they should have worked with you. They should have worked with you. They would have been good. They should have chose you to be the one that they stuck with, to be the one that they 10 toes down with, to be the one that they work with. They would have been so much further in the game. And like I said, now somebody, they want to come to you and they want to put up boundaries around your relationship because they understand and they know that what they did, that was short time. That was the short time is thinking this motherfucker. They couldn't see that somebody else was plotting and planning against them, trying to get them to do all types of stupid shit, saying, "Oh no, I swear, if you jump off that cliff, fuck it, that is called Mountain Kilimanjaro. Jump off the cliff. I'm telling you, you're gonna be happy. You're gonna be happy." And then they jump off the cliff and they falling all the way down and they hitting rocks and trees and jagged shit, and they get there, they finally get to the bottom and they like, damn, one leg is broken, the other ankle is fucked up, I can't feel my arm, it's somewhere around my body, I guess. My eyes all gashed out, I didn't think I lost a couple of teeth. Is my nose broken? What the hell? I think I got a concussion. Oh, my neck hurt. Oh, wait, I can barely move, y'all. See, it's not until they get down from falling all the way down that fucking mountain did they allow somebody to fuck with their head and tell them it's cool to jump down that mountain. Now while they at the bottom, they like, damn, I shouldn't not have jumped. And the one who was sitting there telling them the truth, that's the one who had to leave. That's the one who had to leave. And whenever, trust and believe, after you left, and they knew that you left to save yourself, that's when they said, oopsie, I think I fucked up. But it was that pride and that ego that allowed them not to come and tell you, hey, you know what? I fucked up. They had to finish falling down that mountain. All the way down. How many feet is it from the top of Kilimanjaro to the bottom? How many feet? 9,000 feet? Okay. They had to fall 9,000 feet. And I'm just making that up. I don't even know. I'm not one that's going to be sitting there climbing up no mountains for real, except the mountain of life, What's the message? What's the message? Thank you. Yeah. Instead, somebody decided that they needed to put an end to what y'all had. Like, does that even make any type of sense? Now they sitting here thinking, damn, I should not have walked away. They want to walk to you now. And they want to apologize. Because they're remembering how much you gave. How much of yourself that you gave. That's why they want to walk towards you and they want to apologize. And they want to apologize for trying to attack you, for being with these goody goo dumbass motherfuckers. And them acting like they didn't lost their damn mind. How they sitting there, they should have, instead of jumping on the bandwagon and hearing all the gossip, they should have took some time to say, let me think about this. Let me look at this in a different way. Are those people really saying what's the truth, or they just speaking out the crack of their motherfucking ass? Had they listened, had they smelled a little bit, they would have been like, no, they speaking out the crack of that ass because I can smell the bullshit. Like I said, somebody realized now it's time for them to man up and put up strong boundaries. Because they see how much what they did not do before got them all fucked up. There is no fence straddling. There is no fence straddling. You either on or you off. When you trying to you decide and trying to decide whether you're going to turn the light on in the room, it's either on or it's off. What's the message, Spirit? Anything else? Yep. Somebody wish they would have listened to what the fuck you were saying, because you were speaking that truth. You would have saved them from all this heartache, this heartbreak, this falling down this big ass mountain. You would have saved them from following the fucking crowd, because all of them motherfuckers was falling down the mountain too. They just couldn't see. They was just covering up their bumps and bruises, their cuts and scratches with makeup. Now this person realizes that, you know what, the best decision for them was to go it alone. Just like you decided to go it alone. Instead of following the crowd. Now somebody realized, with their following their own intuition, learning lessons about following their own intuition. Don't listen to the next person, because that next person could be dumb. Somebody learned a lesson about having some discernment of spirits, discernment of people's agendas, what they really trying to do, and how they don't really want you to be any happier, any richer, any more joyful, any more content. They don't want your shit to be bigger than theirs, because they so busy competing with you. Somebody had to realize that shit too. They will give you that little I'm your biggest cheerleader as long as you down there. But the moment it looked like you about to crack where they ever was and go on up here, that's when they like, oh, hold on, let me shut that shit down. What I wanted to really tell you, and don't tell Collective that I said this, because Collective's going to try and get in the way of our little secrets. Somebody had to learn that the hard way. And now, like I said, their biggest regrets is they didn't tell you how they truly felt about you. The love, the respect, the appreciation that they have for you. They have to do it themselves. They got to find themselves by themselves. And hopefully, they'll be able to reconnect with you. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and swing the pendulum. See which way the pendulum is going to swing today. And then I got to do my straight 8. All right, Spirit, which way is the pendulum going to swing? It looks like it is starting off as a yes. Yep, the answer is a yes today. All right, thank you so very much, y'all. I really appreciate all of you. Tia, if the people who say they love you, they don't show up for you, that's not your people. That's not your people. There's nothing wrong with you doing you until you finding your people. Just a minute, little Sasha. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And I'm going to be sending prayers to each and every one of you for God to bless you all. I love you all. Thank you so very much. Let me put this little dog outside for she have a conniption fit. Bye now.